Every day, millions of people get up and drink a cup of coffee. Why? Because of how it makes them feel. But what is it about coffee that feels so good? Is it the caffeine, the taste, the warmth? Or could it be more of an incidental value, such as the moment of thought, the reason for a break, or the conversation with a close friend? When it comes to coffee, what is more important? The coffee or the conversation? It's an interesting question because of all the factors that must be taken into account. And we feel that makes for a great analogy with emotional intelligence, which really comes down to understanding and making choices that relate to a person's wants and needs. Coffee or conversation? It's an attempt to find the emotion, the motivation.
Window 3 defines emotional intelligence as a person's ability to understand oneself and others, and then to feature this understanding through their choices and the use of effective communication. Individuals who have high levels of emotional intelligence can identify, assess, and control the emotions of themselves and others, and in the case of leadership, their groups. Unlike a person's IQ, which is fixed, emotional intelligence can be developed. The focus of Infused Mornings is built on emotional intelligence and how to utilize it in the role of their leadership.
Infused Mornings is a leadership-based forum that is designed to give leaders access to ideas and techniques that will help them become more effective in their roles. It's based on the 15 episodes in the Infused Coaching program and that relate to emotional intelligence.
We designed Infused Mornings to give leaders the opportunity to discuss and work on their level of emotional intelligence. Believe it or not, studies indicate that the further you go up the ladder of any organizational hierarchy, the lower the level of emotional intelligence. And at first that may not make much sense. But when you really think about it, how often are employees transparent with their boss? I don't care how open door you think your policy is, there is no getting around the fact that you're the manager and they're the employee. Now, think about how this affects a person as they move up the ladder. Does the transparency grow? How about the level of objectivity? Emotional intelligence? More often than not, when a person moves up that ladder, they place more focus on the coffee, which is the product, the procedures, the numbers. What leaders need to understand is that there's another aspect to the experience than just the coffee. There's more to a leader's position than simply what they know. After all, what good is knowledge if nobody wants to listen?
In our new transparent economy, nothing is more important than emotional intelligence, because this will define how you communicate with your customers, with your coworkers, with your team members. Will it be challenging? Sure, anything worth your time is. But hey, at least now you have some choices. Now you can talk over the changes taking place with other leaders, learn some new ideas, learn some new approaches, have some coffee. You know, just because you've gotten this far doesn't mean there isn't something you can learn.
When we started designing what this program would look like, it became really easy for me to get on board with the idea of coffee being kind of the symbol or analogy of the Infused Mornings. For one, these meetings will be held in the morning, and what symbol fits the morning better than coffee? Second, coffee is the quintessential stimulant, which so too are our Infused Mornings. And then finally, like emotional intelligence, coffee is just one of those things that will always be around. It will always be a part of our culture. And just like emotional intelligence, in the past, there really wasn't much to coffee, and nobody really gave it any thought. But now people want choices. They want their coffee to come with an experience. It's become much less about the coffee and much more about the conversation.
Think about it like this. 20 years ago, if you were a coffee shop, you could literally just sell black coffee. That's all you had to offer. Keep the costs down, keep the coffee hot, and you could really be somebody.
That business model doesn't fit anymore. Now you have to give your customers more. You have to give your employees more. They want an experience. They want to be part of a positive feeling. It's why companies like Starbucks, Apple, or Southwest have been so successful. They've created that experience. And in doing so, they've created an extremely loyal customer base and workforce.
Let me try to bring all of this into focus. For those of you who are not yet aware, Window 3 has a program called Infused Coaching that gives teams access to 15 episodes that are watched via the internet and that relate to the ideas behind emotional intelligence. That program has been a success and still continues. Infused Mornings is a leadership program that walks a group of CEOs, managers, doctors, anyone who oversees employees through each of these episodes, but just the leaders. They meet with us monthly to talk about the episode and to talk about how that relates to each person's business, to talk about ideas for employee interaction, to discuss case studies, complete activities, and to talk about everyday obstacles that the leaders are having in their own organizations. But basically, to have fun and challenge one another and to learn from one another. That's what you'll need to grow with this economy. And of course, we also enjoy some really good coffee.
It sounds simple. It is. It sounds fun. It is. It sounds like an investment. It is. It's an investment in yourself. Infused Mornings is the difference between management and leadership. Managers are sitting out there wondering why things aren't working like they used to. It's like saying, I don't get it. Costs are down, the coffee's hot. Why am I losing customers? Why don't my employees enjoy working here anymore? I'll tell you why. You can no longer just go through the motions because the motions have changed.
This isn't some networking group or a 2-day seminar. Infused Mornings is a hands-on experience. It's an opportunity for leaders to learn from one another, to gain insight into new ideas and new ways of communicating in a changed economy. There's value in that. There's a whole lot of value in that.